So this particular watercolor travel kit, I have wanted to get my hands on it for a long time. Steve over on Mind of Watercolor reviewed it a few years ago, I think, and I just fell in love with the idea that it's so tiny and portable, and I really wanted to try it out. Now I've taken a few things out, so we're gonna have to imagine what it looked like. They're all inside, but I want to, and I've put other things in, so I think, you know, this is how I'm using it. It originally came with two water flasks, so one here and one here, and two of these. This is a little cup. It just folds out, pinches itself together, and it's really good. It's quite waterproof. It doesn't leak, so I'm very happy about that. And of course, it just collapses into a tiny little pouchy container here. Now, one thing I really love about this pack is that it's all metal and leather. There's no plastic involved, and if you know anything about me, you know that I absolutely can't stand plastic. The only place in my entire life where plastic is allowed is in my art supplies. I make an exception for that, but when it comes to my home or even the barn and all of my animals, life in general, obviously in my car there's a little bit of plastic, or in electronics. So other than those things, there's no plastic, there's no single use or anything else like that. So the fact that this is metal, and you know, and then I've got all glass and metal when I'm, and my paints are in metal. So now, of course, watercolor, I have a watercolor pencil that's plastic. But I really appreciate that part. So on the back side of the front, you've got a space for different brushes, and I originally had 4 brushes in here and one big one. And then you've got the 2 water containers and the 2 water holders. Now that in itself seems pretty simple, but the fact that it's designed to hold these things is just really convenient. So what I've done is, you've probably seen my spray bottle. I've put my spray bottle fits perfectly in one side. I've got this in another. Now this is a very small version of the eraser, but in the top I would put things like an eraser, pencil sharpener if I had one, or perhaps even a tiny sponge. So it's just a little pouch. In my world, I would use this as a little pouch for storing a few extras. Oh, look, there's already something in there. Right. This is a tiny watercolor pan. This is a full pan, and I use it because I put some sticky on the back, and then I spray some water into it, and then I attach it to my palette like so. Give it a good squish, and then I can fill it up. So that's something also that's in here. Look at that, I just happen to have a ruler in my pencil case. So this is 15 centimeters long by, I think it's a perfect square, by 15 centimeters wide. Of course, with the lid, it's going to be about 15 and a half or 16 centimeters. So it's really nice and tiny. Oh, and height, lying on its back, it's 5 centimeters deep. So the depth is only 5 centimeters. So there is a little palette that goes in here, and I also purchased it. It's very thin, but I haven't filled it up yet, so I think I need to do that on some upcoming video. So I've got the true red, blue, and yellow in here. The Potter's Pink, which is absolutely wonderful if I'm doing skin tones. I can mix that with something like yellow ochre and then lighten it way up, so you get something in these ranges of tones. So yeah, I've used this palette, for example, a few days. There's a Patreon post about this. To do this little chicken. Now, this particular chicken is a bantam chicken, and she's totally not done, and she also doesn't have a big wattle or a big comb on top, so she looks a little odd, but that is what she kind of looks like. So I like to take this palette when I'm going to the beach, when I know I'm going to be working in the car. So with all these little bits and pieces, my palette, my water, the large water, and the spray bottle, all the brushes, which normally are in here. And then my water brush also fits in, which is very convenient, or if I wanted to, I could shove them in there as well. I'm gonna slip this in here. Now it's hard to find a sketchbook that's gonna be exactly this big, so what I've done, and I have a video on how to do this, I just tear my paper down, and I end up with, in this case, I think I've got 5-6 sheets of the same size. I just tear it down to whatever size I want, I slip it in, and now I'm officially good to go. So my overall impressions of this little travel kit, is that it is awesome. An extra inch would have been even nicer so that I could put a little more paper in there, or perhaps a larger container. But as it is, this is the coolest thing ever. Oh, and my phone. It would be really awesome if there was like a little spot in the back where I could slip my phone in, or if there was just a wee bit more space, because you can see there is no extra space in here for a cell phone. So that's the only thing. The cell phone means that I need to also bring my cell phone in my back pocket or in a purse, and then of course I'm back to taking two things. But instead of wearing it, it's really simple to just wrap it up and toss it into my bag as a little kit all by itself. So that works really well, or throw it into a basket if I find that I don't want to be carrying multiple bags, just toss it all in one. This was not sponsored. I did have to pay for it. It was 70 US dollars, I believe, with the little palette. Cheap Joe's is the only company I have found that actually sell it, like anywhere, or anything like it. It's just so neat, and I'm really happy that I have it. Thanks for watching. I'm Scarlett, and I'll see you in the next episode. Toodaloo.